In the dailies this morning, to not forget about this very important matter. And on Friday, gentlemen, I'm sure you are alive to the harsh verdict the Kenyan public gave the government, more or less a half-time scorecard, which was very poor. And this morning, the Kenya National Trading Corporation admits that Kenyans lost 6.6 billion Kenya shillings in the edible oil importation scam. Just to peruse through some of the paperwork, Javas, coming to you, and as Council Nelson and the two other panelists listening, is looking at the award of these contracts. And this is the paperwork filed before the Senate. For example, two companies had shared the same postal address. One of the directors of Charma Holdings Limited, Ruth Waithera Kinyanjui, told the House that she received the bid through one mail. One email she got, and then everything was confirmed. The other, that they share the same postal address, is that of Mary Wamboi Mungai, the current chair of the Communications Authority of Kenya Board. And these are people with close links to government. Yes. Here, the Kenya National Trading Corporation could directly import the oil from Malaysia, but it contracted them, they imported it, they had to make their profit, then KNTC must sell. The retailers, they must also put in their profit, and then that is when they will pay the...
That's why they would have done the government-to-government thing.
And which was, the oil ended up never being sold, Javas. I mean, how then Parliament, despite what it attained yesterday, ought to be focusing on such important matters? I'll come to health. I'll come to Adani as well. So is the House also deflecting attention away from the real issues that matter for the public?
I think, appreciating what has always been said, that the taste of the pudding is in the eating, we are witnessing before our very own eyes the kind of priorities that our legislators have, as opposed to that which is germane to the country and its progress. And when you look at even the issues of edible oil, issues of, yes, the Adani that's now dealing with matters, health matters to do with the takeover of the airport and all that, looking at even issues of politics, and yesterday that led to the impeachment of Rigathi in the National Assembly. It's just the politics of messianism, especially false messianism. If at all, National Assembly and the Senate want to be the messiahs in this country, as even Senator Nyonka puts it, let us see them being very vociferous in discharging these duties politically on matters, for example, impeachment. Do the same on matters to do with accountability and oversight. It's very important that the excitement should not only be seen when it comes to issues of impeachment and politically mauling each other. And this negative messianism or false messianism that is lifted by the politics of self-preservation, aggrandizement, and I think narrow-mindedness is what is leading us here. Too many people are dying. Too many people cannot even afford healthcare. Now, to me, I think these issues should be looked at through very broad lenses. The president is there, and the entire cabinet. There is the parliament. We have got governors. Health is a devolved function. And even cabinet secretaries, some of whom have not been called or brought to book on the decisions that they made, they need to be brought to book. The primary role of oversight of Parliament, National Assembly and the Senate is something that Kenyans now should even be more interested in and ask them those difficult questions. If members of Parliament can be ready and willing to sit up to very late on a subject of impeachment, why can't they sit just as late to hold cabinet secretaries to account, to grill even principal secretaries? So don't tell me that our legislators are not able to do this work for which they were voted. They are able to do it. Don't tell me that our members of Parliament are not interested and not able to discharge their three critical roles: oversight, accountability, representation. They are able because they have demonstrated it, albeit just occasionally. Why can't they do it incessantly?
Money.
And when you look at it this way, the politics of self-preservation is what has led us here. Now, we saw even last night, or yesterday morning, in fact, some members of the National Assembly beseeching the attention of the Speaker, Moses Wetangula, that they want to withdraw their signature on the impeachment of DP. Why is it that earlier somebody endorsed and then later on, upon reflection, they want to withdraw. What happened here? What is it that about this soul that was struck by the light that now they want to see, and now they're turning into Paul? This oscillating between polar positions in our politics, the politics of toing and froing due to political expediency, is the anathema in this country's governance and progress.
And who holds in this case, before I come to Council, Javas, because we seem to be having a problem with leadership. And anytime there's this unholy alliance between Parliament and the Executive, there seems to be an erosion of the constitutional gains that we made. For example, one of the punching bags the President had used before the campaigns, before the elections, was the issue of the handshake, which he said it's a mongrel. Even went to Chatham House and in London and told the world that the reason as to why we are unable to function is because of opposition in government and government in opposition. On Ford Foundation, he accused them of fanning the Gen Z protests and disharmony. He went to Washington, caused it to them in New York during the UN General Assembly. He said he will not trace taxes. Now they are punitive taxes, literally decimating the middle class. Therefore, in terms of flip-flopping, who then holds the President to account? Do you think the Parliament has the capacity to hold the President to account?
Ayub, if law is to justice, just the same way as to what jurisdiction is to authority and reason to thinking, then I bring myself to that critical point of concluding that if it's a question of reasoning, thinking, authority, and the place of law in justice and governance, Parliament has got a critical role in its oversight duties in holding the executive to account. It's the place of of Parliament. If it's about passing budgets, is it not Parliament? Which, in fact, many times successfully fails in doing what even the Constitution provides. For example, we know that constitutional commissions are supposed to be sufficiently funded to execute their mandate. Our Parliament makes sure that constitutional commissions are underfunded for reasons known to them. If it's a question of calling cabinet secretaries and grilling them properly, not for purposes of public relations and mere appearance to be seen to be doing the work, Parliament should do that. We have seen it even in other progressive democracies. In the US, for instance, if a cabinet secretary appears, they know that if they're not thoroughly prepared, the cloud of shame will be so dark upon their heads and will remain in infamy. And so I think Parliament can hold the account, the President to account, can hold the entire executive to account. It is Parliament that is the weakest link in this country's governance.
Council, was the